For those who are watching, this wasn't supposed to happen. Mom and Dad, if you're watching, I love you, and I'm sorry. I just wanted to shoot a documentary. What's that? I'm sorry. Welcome to Body Bags. I'm your Friday reviewer, Chris, from ChrisB Movies. You know my name is Chris. You know I love B movies, and even B movies that are pretty popular, right? Hit theaters from around the world. The original budget of this film was between $35,000 and $60,000. And it had a final cost of $200,000 to $750,000 after post-production edits. So, on a grand scale, a very low-budget film. Written by Daniel Myrick and Eduardo Sanchez. And basically, when people went to see this in theaters, they were blown away by it. Especially the ending, where nothing is spelled out. You have to come to your own conclusion of what really happened. Was it a Blair Witch? Was it a crazy serial killer? Was it just a hoax? Them playing a trick on the viewers? Only to be tricked by the viewers again because the story is not real, right? So anyway, 3 film students, and we're talking about Heather Donahue, who showed up in a couple other films afterwards. So that kind of dispels the rumor if it was true or not. Michael C. Williams and Joshua Leonard are trying to find out if this Blair Witch is real. So they go down to Burkittsville, Maryland, and they ask a lot of the townsfolks, have you ever seen the Blair Witch? This one lady is really creepy. They go to her house. She is, like, completely nutsoid. Looks like she could be the Blair Witch. And there were other people, people like, well, I've heard rumors, I've heard this, I've heard that, I've heard tales, and one person says, oh yeah, I think I really did see the Blair Witch. And then these 2 fishermen, who were friggin' awesome, they were the atypical fishermen, drinking beers, fishing, and one of them said, well, I thought I caught a sighting of somebody, but I'm not sure. So after interviewing, now, they're ready to go into the woods to really find out if this is real. Maybe they can get a glimpse of it and get it on camera. And if they can do that, they're going to make a very successful documentary and make themselves a lot of money, right? Of course, they get deep into the woods, and Heather is very certain that she knows the way. She says, trust me, trust me. But what happens? They end up lost. Ooh, big surprise there, huh? So they put up a tent, and every night they hear things. They wake up to weird art, branch work. Basically, a cult. Something a cult would do. And then one of them goes missing. Now, if you've seen the movie, you know who it is. But if you've never seen the Blair Witch Project, I'm not going to ruin it for you. And then there's 2. And now, things are getting a lot more scarier every night. It's getting more scarier, more scarier, more scarier. Now, Heather and Michael... Oh, I just spoiled it there. Yes, they took Joshua. Are running frantically because they hear Joshua's voice. And they happen upon this old house. And at that house... the unknown will happen. And what I mean by unknown is, if you know the ending, you know that we the viewers have to come up with our own conclusion at the end. It doesn't spell it out for you. And I kind of like that. It makes things a lot more creepier than if they spell it out for you. Like, I truly think that if Halloween 1 was the only Halloween movie they ever did, it would be much more scarier than it is now, because they're making all these sequels, remakes, different, they're making the franchise even bigger, you know, and they had to kill him off, but then they make another movie to explain the reason why he really wasn't dead in the first place. But if Halloween 1 ended, Halloween 1, and they didn't make 2, 4, 5, or how many other ones they made, you know, which is a whole lot of them. They're still making them today. It would have been more scarier, because when they looked down and saw Michael Myers was gone, and the movie ends, that would have made things just more scarier. It would make you be, like, more afraid, because, like, what happened, and they never really tell you. See, I love stuff like that. I don't always like the stuff that spells things out for you, because in life, does everything get spelled out for you? Do you have to come to your own conclusion at times? That's what I liked about the Blair Witch Project. When I went to see it in the theaters, and it ended, people were like, oh, come on, blah. They were all upset, and I thought it was totally ingenious. And, of course, there were some people who really thought this was real. And it wasn't, you know, just a movie. This is real tape that they found, and they put it in theaters, and... But it ended up being a really big hit. And again, one of the best to ever do the found footage is the Blair Witch Project. I liked Heather, Michael, and Joshua. They were very likable. And in a lot of horror films that you watch, you don't catch a lot of really likable characters. You kind of root for the killer to kill him off. And then the final girl or final guy that are pretty cool. You know, that's kind of why they survived the whole thing. And you kind of know, you can kind of tell, especially with slasher flicks, who's going to survive and who's not. Because there's one that's just a lot smarter than the rest of them. At least that's what I see, you know. Blair Witch Project, though, all 3 of the kids were likable, and you kind of root for them. You kind of hope they make this awesome documentary, but you know something bad's going to happen because they went missing, and we found a tape, and the last parts of their life were on this tape. The last days, minutes, seconds of their lives were on this tape. You get to see. But you don't really find out what happened. Was it a Blair Witch? Was it a crazy serial killer? Was it someone playing a trick on them and then knocking the camera off? Well, obviously, it wasn't someone playing a hoax on them. But maybe these 3 kids were playing a hoax on us. You can always come up to your own conclusion on this one. Blair Witch, really fun film, and I've seen it several times. I love the shaky camera. I love the camera work while they're running and stuff, because it's realistic. It's real. And it scares the hell out of you, because it's so real that this could really happen. Of course, if I was being chased by somebody, or I heard I was stuck in the woods, I'd throw that... tape recorder down and just kind of run. Run for it and say, screw this, documentary's done. We didn't get to film this documentary, you know. Yeah, the Blair Witch Project, it's a really fun film. It's not an overly long film, but it's a very satisfying film. If you've never seen it before, definitely check it out. I also didn't mind the sequel, but the remake was terrible. It was awful. It was it just was a masterclass of jump scares, basically. And that's not what the original Blair Witch was about. So, definitely stay true to this one. And then watch, you know, the last broadcast, Cannibal Holocaust, and Strawberry Estates, because these are actual films that came before the Blair Witch Project. And they're basically, you know, the start of the found footage era of film. Blair Witch is the one that made it the most popular. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to rate Blair Witch, 10 being the best, 1 being the worst cheese you're ever going to get. I give it a solid 9.5. Very satisfying film for me. Did not spell things out. Made you come to your own conclusions, and I love stuff like that. Watch David Lynch's Eraserhead. See if you can figure out that film. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Check out all the other reviewers. They all do a bang-up job. They're great guys who love movies just like we do. Please like if you like, and comment below if you watched The Blair Witch and like it, what you feel about it. You might not have liked it. Hey, to each his own. And tune in next week, because I got more fun stuff coming your way. Don't forget to watch those late night horror movies. Read up on your latest Fright Mags. Don't forget to tune in to another episode of a show we call Body Bags. You never know when you're going to get stuck in the woods and who's watching. This wasn't supposed to happen.